it seems like I'm seeing more and more pressure to where, well, yeah, we understand that and especially for look at a small budget movie like Weapons. Netflix throws even more money than Warner Brothers did. More cash up front, millions more that would have gone straight into Krieger's pocket, right? And he said, no, I want this to be a theatrical release. Netflix is refusing to do that. So I'm going to walk away from guaranteed more money for less money, but I get to go into theaters with it.
Renegade Online.
So this was one of the next things I wanted to bring up. There's this new wave going on in Hollywood now. Things are changing. And I thought this was really a good bellwether of it. Talking about how the Duffer brothers are going to leave Netflix. The guys that invented Stranger Things, the biggest television show collectively through 4 seasons that Netflix has, right? Yeah. Wednesday has been pulling in some big numbers, but when you put all 4 seasons of Stranger Things together, the consumption of hours, I mean, Stranger Things arguably has done more than anything, I think, over the years to build Netflix into what it is, as being able to point to a singular show. They're leaving. They've been paid a lot of money by Netflix over the years, and they're leaving. Why? Because one of the new sheriffs in town, David Ellison of Skydance, who just bought Paramount, as soon as look, the ink on that contract with Paramount wasn't even dry, and we're starting to see all these stories that David Ellison has been hitting the pavement hard. I mean, he is going out there. He is spending money to just buy up the talent. And one of the things here was not just the money. This was about the fact that he wanted to give them the ability to make the movies they wanted to do and guarantee them theatrical windows that Netflix.
So not just stuff going straight to Paramount Plus.
Right. They want the Duffer brothers to make, I mean, if it's a TV show, that's one thing, obviously. But in terms of let's make a movie, like Netflix wants them in there. They want them making movies for Netflix for streaming.
Yeah.
And Ellison's like, piss on that. Come over here. I'll give you a theatrical window.
Well, isn't that also very smart, considering they have Taylor Sheridan locking up their like Paramount Plus market with like 8 shows a year?
Yep. And every show that Taylor Sheridan creates for Paramount Plus is the biggest show on streaming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bar none. When you're talking about, I mean, Landman was pulling in, I forget what the numbers, it was something ridiculous, 20 million a week watching Landman. They had the new show Mobland that was Guy Ritchie produced, which was an excellent show. What a hell of a cast that show had. Phenomenal show. Totally brand new. Wasn't connected to Yellowstone. Nothing like that. Pulling in, by the time it got to its 4th week, it was pulling in like 15 million a week in North American viewership for each episodic release. Fabulous show. This is what he wants to do for these guys, but in the theater. And Brett, earlier in the show, we were reminding folks, this is another win for theatrical because Weapons, when it was being shopped around several years ago, about 2-3 years ago now, Netflix was the highest bidder for Weapons. Netflix offered more than the $38 million that Warner Brothers offered to Krieger to get the thing. And I mean, it only cost like something like $25 million to make the movie, but there was an extra $10 million in cash built in just for Krieger for his production credits, writing, directing the film. That was basically his profit margin. So Warner Brothers' investment was $38 million, but Netflix offered him more and he turned it down. And he said the reason he did was because Warner Brothers has a tremendous history with producing and marketing and distributing horror films, and Warner Brothers guaranteed him theatrical. Netflix said streaming only.
Well, that's what happened with Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell when they made Anyone But You. They wanted that movie to go to theaters, and everybody, Netflix offered them a crap ton of money to release it straight to streaming. And they said every place that offered them money offered them more to go to streaming than it was to get a theatrical window. But it doesn't keep the cultural relevance if they don't do that.
I mean, this is it. Greta Gerwig threatened to walk off of Narnia unless it was going to go to theaters. And they let Wuthering Heights, all these other ones. Netflix is trying to go out there and scoop up not just, the stuff that is cannon fodder for Netflix that brings in a lot of eyeballs and that consumes a lot of watch time, right? I love Trainwreck, the series on Netflix. They're fun little mini documentaries about different stories over time. And of course, one of the most famous ones recently was Trainwreck Poop Cruise. And it was a 1 hour documentary on the cruise ship. I think it was a Royal Caribbean ship. It was about 15 years ago now that went dead in the water in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, stranded out there for a week. The toilets wouldn't work. And of course, 4,000 people on a boat have to go to the bathroom. And it was called Poop Cruise. Look, that thing, there were, I think, 5 times the number of people, 10 times the number of people, something stupid, that watched Poop Cruise the same week that Ironheart was out.
Yeah. It's like Tiger King.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, I mean, nobody's watching Marble Trash, and they're especially not watching Ironheart, some, like a Black Girl ripoff Iron Man. Nobody cares.
I mean, nobody even watched Daredevil, and Daredevil was supposed to put them back on top.
Did nothing for them.
No.
But, stuff like that will feed a Netflix, and it's fine for that. Those documentaries and stuff like Low Cost, Low Yield. But what I'm starting to see now is, and this is what I'm wondering, the landscape has changed. And people are talking about how back in, years ago, they gave, what was it, $400 million to frickin' Ryan Johnson, of all people. Netflix did, to make 2 Knives Out sequels. Now, those movies didn't cost $200 million a piece, clearly. They probably didn't even cost $100 million a piece. The rest of it was just pure profit in Ryan Johnson's pocket. Most people don't get that kind of deal. But they were never going to go to theaters. But those deals were struck in an era where theaters were choking. They were dead. They were shut down, or they were just trying to come out of COVID. Theaters have gotten more robust. This is what I want to hear from you guys, what y'all think. Have we reached the point now where theatrical, you look at the number of things that are being released? I don't think Netflix is going to be able to play this game much longer. If they still want to be able to try to get top talent and the best stories, I think their days are numbered. Do you guys think that Netflix is going to be forced to pivot and start putting movies out? Maybe, I mean, not all of them, but putting maybe 6 or 12. Amazon's doing it already. 2026.
Amazon,
Apple
are doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Is Netflix has been the last holdout. Do you guys think that Netflix are going to be forced to pivot?
No.
I don't think they need, I mean, I think Netflix is so synonymous with streaming now that they're not going to pivot. I think they're going to stick and do what they want. And the brand behind Netflix is what sells it anyways. I mean, people go on there and they watch something that, they don't even know whether they like it or not. If you look at like the top 10 shows on Netflix, it's like Wednesday, Adolescence is a series. It's not going to theaters. Yeah. Dahmer's not going to theaters. Bridgerton, Queen's Gambit, The Night Agent.
The series, no, but like the Netflix exclusive movies.
Like the movies.
Yeah, the movies is what I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
Is that, I mean, you look at K-pop Demon Hunters, and that's going to tie into this because that was a huge, I mean, Sony basically left so much money on the table doing that with Netflix. It's not funny. And that's kind of one of those things to where I think we're going to see some changes in the future. Now, Sony's deal with Netflix is a little bit different, right? They get the Sony library, but Sony also has agreed to make a couple of Netflix exclusive things. K-pop Demon Hunters was one of them.
Valiant. So you don't think that the money that Netflix is able to throw at these at the talent, like when you said like Ryan Johnson's movies didn't cost that much, all I could think about was like the second one was made during COVID, and there's a lot of names that he gets a lot of big name actors that cost money. So, I mean, maybe they did cost $100 million for all I know.
Well, it worked back then. My point is, I don't think that's going to keep working for the films.
Okay.
And again, it seems like I'm seeing more and more pressure to where, well, yeah, we understand that and especially for look at a small budget movie like Weapons. Netflix throws even more money than Warner Brothers did. More cash up front, millions more that would have gone straight into Krieger's pocket, right? And he said, no, I want this to be a theatrical release. Netflix is refusing to do that. So I'm going to walk away from guaranteed more money for less money, but I get to go into theaters with it. And that's my question is that I'm starting to wonder as as theatrical becomes, more levelized again, because a lot of these deals from, like the last time Adam Sandler signed a contract with Netflix, for example, and that may be a little bit different story, but I mean, that was in the middle of COVID and stuff like this. So yeah, he'll take $900 million, whatever the hell they gave him to make 10 movies for Netflix, because why not? And he may still continue to do that, but I'm thinking that there's going to be some movies out there where these directors, like Weapons, is going to want to make, hey, we have something truly special here. And I don't want to just dump this on Netflix to be movie of the week. I don't want it to get lost. So that's what I'm wondering is if Netflix, they don't want to do it right now, but you've got Amazon out there that's already committed next year in 2026 to releasing, I think, 12 or 14 movies into theaters. Not to say that any of them are going to blow the doors off in terms of box office necessarily, but the point is they're committed to bolstering the theatrical windowing. Apple clearly is already doing it. Huge success this summer with F1, $600 million in box office. It's one of the biggest movies of the year globally right now. Yeah, fantastic movie. I mean, it's going to beat a lot of movies this year.
Brad Pitt's biggest movie of all time, apparently.
Yeah.
And my favorite movie of the year. I mean, if I remember correctly, like just a couple months ago, Ted Sarandos said that he thinks that the theater model is dead. And that was while touting AI as well. I think these people are going to put, I think Netflix of all the companies will avoid the pivot. Like the rest of them, I can see them doing it to get the talent that they want. But Netflix's name is the big selling point for them. I don't think they're going to pivot at all. I could be wrong.
I'm curious to see. I think Netflix is going to have to start for certain films. Now, I'm not saying all of them, because they put a new movie on Netflix, like in a Netflix original, almost every week. They're not going to do that in the theaters. But I think that if they're going to want to win more of these battles, because here's what's going to happen: the Hollywood trades. I think we're going to continue to see story after story of, well, Netflix bid on it, they offered more money, and they still lost. Well, Netflix, I mean, I think that's going to keep happening for some of these, especially for some of these films where they know they have something special and they want to be award eligible. Now, Netflix, I think, they're doing it with K-pop Demon Hunters. They're doing the sing-along thing. They have done very limited releases in the past for films to make them awards eligible, but only for that reason.
But I mean, you take a look at the problem. Number one, you put it in a theater, you now have to double the budget to promote it. Money that Netflix right now does not have to spend at all.
Correct.
And the fact that the theaters just give them a percentage of that gross anyway. There's a lot of things that go against Netflix wanting to do it from a business. I have postulated a couple times now that it probably would make sense for Netflix to create their own movie theater chain. Just like small, like one theater in each major center. That number one, if you're a top tier Netflix subscriber, you can go in and see any of the Netflix movies that are in rotation at the theater for free. If you go in and buying movies from scratch, then you get discounts to become a Netflix ongoing subscriber. I could see them doing something like that that's more similar to what Apple did with the Apple Store, was kind of branding live entertainment in their own image and throwing, like they could throw up the Adam Sandler movie, the golfing one, Happy Gilmore 2.
Yeah.
And I would guarantee you that if they have a small number of theaters and you're already a Netflix subscriber and the movie only cost you $2, they're going to fill the theater.
Yeah.
Because then it's just about fun. And I think Netflix has an opportunity to bring fun back to theatrical, which right now it's not fun. $18 a movie is not fun. There's a lot of other things, but there's other pressures. I can see A-list movie stars stopping, no longer doing superhero movies, and no longer doing streaming movies that don't open in theaters. I could see both those things happening, choking Netflix from gaining access to A-level stars that could bring them into the theater. But for the most part, I think if they're trying to turn themselves in kind of an amusement ride kind of experience, and if you've ever seen their lobby, which is a spectacular piece of architecture, if they bring that fun to their theater experiences, they could actually do a better job of holding on to their subscribers and cut down the churn by building out Apple Store style movie theaters. That's a crazy idea, but that's what I'm pitching them. They can pay me anytime for it.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.